What up, y'all? Let's talk about aliens, visitors. V is for visitors. I'd like to talk about Valiant Thor, stranger at the Pentagon. For those of you who don't know, now that our U.S. American government is opening our ET visitor files, and it's no longer so much of a secret, it's well known that there was a visitor to the Pentagon some decades ago, a Mr. Valiant Thor from Venus. I know that sounds ridiculous on the surface until you find out that it's true. And it was at some time scrubbed from history, that is sanitized. But documents and information publications have recently reemerged. That is surfaced because it had been in the news before. That is why I said re-emerged, resurfaced. So Valiant Thor from Venus, he showed up one day at the Pentagon and was like, yo. And they had to check him out, make sure that he was in fact alien extraterrestrial. So he provided credentials. You can read about it. I'm not going to go into this long backstory. Just check it out, man. If you want to know what's really going on, just Google it and you can see all of the declassified information. There's also that funny guy who's been in the news lately, and he says that we'll never inhabit other planets because we just don't have the means with which to travel at warp speed to far away star systems. That guy's funny, man. Because even though he's supposedly an intellectual and a genius, he obviously missed the part about anti-gravity. So he's talking about how humans are already messing up the planet and we just don't have the means to travel at incredibly high rates of speed to any neighboring exoplanets. And he goes on with this whole dissertation, and it's really amusing because I don't know, man. In his intellectual development process, I guess he just missed the part about classified programs, deep black, unacknowledged special access programs. I guess in his in his academic upbringing, in his early childhood, college, university rearing, so to speak, he indoctrination, inculcation, he just missed the whole part about the secret space fucking program. So he's telling all these stories, man, to people in the press and news media about his beliefs and views on how it'll just never happen. And it'll be at least 30 years. He even puts a number on it. It'll be at least 30 years until we find ET for the first time. This dude is funny, man. He's a funny guy. He just fucking has no clue what's going on in terms of Solar Warden and our 20 and back program. This guy is just he's funny as fuck. Because he's just totally in the dark about the deeper truth, reality of it all. He obviously doesn't know about Dr. Stephen Greer. He doesn't know about Dr. Stephen Greer and the Gaia Project. Just this whole chunk of information, this foundational knowledge base of information that he's just totally oblivious to and clueless about. So it's really fucking hilarious. So Valiant Thor, he visited the Pentagon, and separately on the U.S. West Coast, about a week apart, George Van Tassel, their names are very similar too. George Van Tassel was an Earthling. He was an American U.S. citizen, and he worked in aerospace. And V's, that is visitors, they came down to California to an airstrip where he was, similar to Valiant Thor. And they were like, yo, we want to show you this technology. We want to talk to you about time travel, traveling through wormholes, warp space, this and that. And he's like, man, I'm open to that information. So they talked about frequency over time, and they talked about human reanimation and how basically with advanced technology from beings who have been around for zillions of eons, they can 3D print humans. And it's really easy for them to do that. And they use sound waves, and the sound waves help reanimate human cells that have been damaged. And so basically, when you have the human genome, when you have the DNA, the helical or helexical, I guess it would be helexical structure of the double helix. When you have that helix structure, that is basically the blueprint to who you are. As long as you have that, you can reanimate your human genetic code until you are full and you again. If you utilize this technology that these aliens were attempting to provide him. But mysteriously, the shadow government, they interceded, they stepped in, and he conveniently, sadly, mysteriously passed away like a day before he was going to present this information to the public. So, back on the East Coast, Val Valiant Thor similarly shows up, and he tells humans, he's like, look, I'm from the Intergalactic Federation. That's right, alliance, coalition. And you humans are fucking up the planet. It's getting wacky, and I'm here to share some information with you. Now, you see, a lot of these researchers who have observed both George Van Tassel on the left coast, that is West Coast, and Val Valiant Thor from Venus on the right coast, that would be the East Coast of the United States, America. They never connect the two, and they never seem to understand that they happen within a week of each other, and that both sets of visitors had the same intent, had the same intention. So I've connected the two, and have presented it to y'all a few times. Well, the one thing that I wanted to bring up today, man, that you may think, man, that's kind of outrageous and absurd. That's an interesting notion that you have there, Mr. Grover, Mr. One Sir Grover. So, one of the things that Val Valiant Thor was said to have discussed when he was at the Pentagon, by the way, Department of Defense, military intelligence, U.S. government, CIA, they put him up, that is Val Valiant Thor, in a special apartment where they could monitor and observe him and also accommodate him for a couple of years. Like, he was on Earth for a while they ran tests and studies on him, his uniform, his outfit, his clothing, his tools, his machines, his equipment. And one of the things that history tends to leave out is that he had some type of cloaking device where if he wanted to, he could appear to be he could like project holographically his image elsewhere and disappear. So if he wanted to evade and get away, he could make it look like he was in one place and he could actually be somewhere else. And it made it look as if he were teleporting. He was really just cloaked. And then his skin and his biological makeup and his suit were impervious to lasers, like human-designed lasers. In fact, it is open source information where you can read and see where the U.S. Military, they used lasers and tried to penetrate his clothing, and they could not. And they tried to run medical tests on him, and the medical instruments failed and would not even operate on his epidermis, his skin. They would just break and fall apart because, humans are biological machines. And his breed, that is his species of whatever he is, with a larger, bigger brain mass, they're zillions of eons more advanced than humanoids on this planet. So that's another reason why I was scrubbed from history. For all of these fools who think that humans have never encountered aliens yet, and if we ever do, it'll probably just be some intelligent bacteria, like on a meteorite. People are so fucking cornball, man. They're just so in the dark and so lowbrow about the deeper truth reality of the multiverse. But at any rate, and hence the reason why DARPA is talking about going to the oceans of Venus. And they make it seem as if there might be some type of intelligent life there. Well, we obviously know that there is. That's where Val Valiant Thor is from. So there's a highly advanced civilization and race of beings already present. So, in that, The thing that Val Valiant, by the way, thank you for tuning in. If you're a true fan and not a not for real fan, then IWE495 most certainly appreciate you. I am One Sir Grove. This is Casting 495 Celebrities Worldwide. Notice how I never asked anyone to like or subscribe or to smash that motherfucking bell, because I personally, in the context of what I do, think that shit's corny. All of my likes, all of my thumbs up, all of my subs, all of my fans, purely organic. I never asked for anyone to do any fucking thing along those lines. So that's the difference between me and the masses. I don't go with the crowd. I do my own fucking thing my way. And I ain't yelling out Treyway. Fuck Rico. Hashtag 6ix9ine's coming home soon. So, yeah. So what fucking, what they talk about, man, in this body of knowledge, information, this body of information regarding Val Valiant Thor, is that Val Valiant Thor made a comment when he was at the Pentagon, of the many different comments that he made, and his wife and his child apparently stayed on board his spacecraft somewhere, and he actually took people there and showed them what it was all about, and people came on board his craft, and that's actually quite revelatory. It's very interesting, their system of sanitation and the commode urinal that they used, and how they would clean themselves in space. It's a trip, man. You can read about it. Truth is stranger than fiction. Nothing is what it seems. But the comment that he made, man, that I've been building up the suspense around, is that he made this remark that military war planners and people working at the Pentagon, who in their minds are coordinating activities and conducting business, he said that he had never seen a race of beings that appeared to be as confused and as uncoordinated as humans. He said it was baffling and perplexing to him. It was puzzling as to why humans are so fucking confused. And so, out of everything that he did and said while he was on the planet that is documented, that when he was on Earth, that always comes to mind, man. And it stays in my memory, because what I've noticed, what I, One Sir Grove, have noticed is lately there have been these, and I'm not saying that they're all women, but I've been in public spaces, man, and I've overheard these women talking to their boyfriends or their lovers or these men on the phone, right? And, man, and they've been these long ass conversations where these women are, it's like they're so wrapped up with these fucking dudes, right? And so dependent on them, and the relationships that I've overheard that I didn't want to overhear, they just sound so fucking toxic and so ridiculous, man. And these women spend so much fucking time on the phone talking to these dudes, and man, and it just sounds so cornball, man. And I'm just thinking to myself, I mean, obviously I'm not going to say anything. Who am I? I mean, that's their fucking problem, right? But it's like what Val Valiant Thor was talking about. I mean, I even see that in news media. Males, men, females, men, women, in news media, just this like over analysis of shit that for others outside media, it's like, why are you taking these topics and making them seem complicated? Like Roger, I'm sorry, not Roger, not negative on that, I meant Michael Moore. Like his stupid fucking comment about capitalism being designed to enslave the citizenry. It's like fucking cornball. This dude is saying shit that is so trite. It's so fucking backwards. It's like he's trying to be relevant by making a cornball statement. It's like, wrong, Michael Moore. It's the other fucking way around. It's the contrapositive. It's the inverse. It goes the other motherfucking way, dude. You are smoking some shit, okay? That's what socialism and communism are designed to do. That is not what capitalism is designed to do. That is not the purpose, basis of capitalism. He'll just say some cornball shit because he's made a career being a fucking cornball. Just straight cornbally, okay? Cornbally, cornballerish, cornballish, cornball. They're all the same, man. They're all one and the same. They're all synonyms of the others. Cornball. So, man, when you apply optics, scan grid spectrum, and observe media across the multiverse, these media fools, that's what they do, man. They take simple subjects like the upcoming presidential election for 2020, and they want to make it seem like, well, who is going to do this? And who is going to be the front runner? I knew that shit from the very fucking beginning. I told y'all, if you go back and you listen to my podcast, I already broke down the shit that these so-called newscasters, broadcasters, podcasters, and others, I already said it months ago. Literally months ago. I told you in the very beginning. I said Kamala Harris is weak. She's going to fall off immediately. She did. She's done. Then I explained how Joe Biden was not going to be this hype motherfucker that people thought that he was. I already broke that down. I told you that Bernie fucking Sanders never stood a chance. That dude is a fucking crazy commie. Boom, lo and behold. It's exactly what the fuck I said it was, man, months ago. It's so see-through, man. It's so crystal fucking clear. But the media, to get their ratings with their advertisers and supporters, they have to make it seem like it's this complex shit that they can talk out over the course of months on end. Months on end. Even the Robert Mueller shit that took 2 years. I told you guys in the very beginning. I told you from the fucking gate. I said, look, there's nothing to this shit. It's all a charade. It's all bullshit. And people talked and talked and talked about it for 2 fucking years. Millions of dollars, taxpayer money spent. Total fucking witch hunt. And 2 years down the road, it was exactly what I talked about. How many analysts, how many commentators, how many fucking dorks and dweebs, how many fucking goons, how many just babbling bobbleheads were there in the 2 year period of time? Discussing, dissecting, analyzing, researching, talking, bobbleheads. How many of them were there for 2 years? Only 2, ultimately, in the end, as a consequence of their bobbleheaded stupidity, 2 year long charade. What did they say? They said what I said 24 fucking months ago in the very beginning of it all. They're like, yep, no collusion. There's nothing here. It was just a huge waste of America's time and a big distraction to distract you, the American people and world global audience, from looking over here and seeing the shit that Barack and every one of the deep state actors, not including but not limited to Hillary Clinton, everything that they've done. Yeah, don't look at them. Look over here at Trump while we distract you, the world, and Donald Trump from handling business. That's all it was, man. And I called that shit from the fucking beginning. Val Valiant Thor was right, man. These people are uncoordinated, discombobulated. They're all over themselves, man. They're a mess, man. And you can see it in the media all day. Take any news topic about some just basic everyday shit, and it's like, this is a no-brainer. Why are you guys discussing this? Oh, right. You need to get ratings. You need to make it seem like it's a really complicated, complex issue matter when it's really not. And smart people like us sit back and we're like, dude, we figured that shit out zillions of eons ago. I get it. Val Valiant Thor got it. Right. Keep talking, motherfuckers. Keep playing up the Shakespearean play.